About the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solutions, click the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Lionel, executive producer of the Female Solutions Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China,
Ni hao.
in India, namaste.
Namaste.
In Japan, konnichiwa. In
Konnichiwa.
Korea, annyeonghaseyo. In
Annyeonghaseyo.
Russia, zdravstvuyte. In
Rotstutse.
Germany, guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
In Poland, dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry.
In France, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Hola.
Hola.
Italy, ciao.
Ciao.
In Egypt, hasta wasada.
Hasta
In
wasada.
Ghana, aquaba. In
Aquaba.
Nigeria, paleo.
Paleo.
In South Africa, salbona.
Sabona.
In Senegal, nangaba. In Kenya, jambo.
Jambo.
In Israel, shalom.
Shalom.
In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu
And
alaikum.
may peace be upon you all.
And thank you for joining us this morning on the Female Solution.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed into the swing of things? Don't worry, you are
Not alone.
Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with ZeldaSpeaks for your Monday morning mindfulness session on Blog Talk Radio, the Female Solution. Mondays, 7:30 to 9 a.m. Be sure to include your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit ZeldaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moments of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered. Stay tuned to the next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. Thanks for listening.
Grand Rising. And thank you so much for joining me this morning on Monday Morning Mindfulness. Welcome to the Female Solution. I'm your host, Zelda Speaks. Happy Earth Day, birthday, born day. If you're celebrating your Earth Day today, it is Monday, May 3rd. Yes, we're in the month of May already. Can you believe it? Yes! That means June, July, August. You know, the hot months are coming to Chicago. Can you believe it? We had 80 degrees yesterday. I was outside in it all day. Good thing because it's raining today. Even though they said it's going to be nice, it's still raining. But it was a little windy yesterday. Who cares? Anyway, thank you so much for being a part of my day and starting your day out with something that's very special and dear to us all, and that's a Mother's Day special. And actually, all week, because Mother's Day is coming up, so we may as well celebrate them year round. Just not today, but we're going to start right here on this show today. Okay, is that okay with you? All right, good. I always say a special prayer for the sick and the shut-in and the essential workers that's going on, that's taking care of people, and chances are they aren't taking care of themselves. So let us give a moment of quiet and reflection somewhere during the course of your day and just say thank you to those who are out here and making it possible for us to do what we do. And a special prayer for Mama AZ. And she's in, I forgot what part of Arizona, but also to Minister Cynthia Marie Williams, who is a sister of the microphone, who's also in a nursing home and she's having a challenge. And as are many people these days having a challenge. Everybody's having a challenge, but I ask you to keep our sisters of the microphone in your prayer. That is Mama AZ in Arizona and Minister Cynthia Marie Williams here in Chicago. Okay? Alrighty, I'll be joined today by Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq of Community Cultivations. And he always has such a fresh perspective on what's going on in the world. So we will be joined by him coming up in the 7:30 hour. You know, we were discussing uh, on our weekly sister of the microphone call every Sunday, and we were discussing Naima Latif, the executive director, uh, executive producer of the Female Solution. We were discussing HWPL, that's World Heavenly Peace. I forgot what the L means, but they're having a big event that's coming up in June. Yeah, June. I think it's June 5th. I'm sure Naima will tell us coming up at the after show. But they're talking about media around the world getting together and focusing on the good, because there's so much fake news and trash and garbage. And that's one of the things that we talked about Saturday in our kickoff of the Higher Learning Stress Release Spa experience. Thank you so much for joining, for those who you know who you are. And I'll be showing snippets of that later on my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. I digress, but the reason for my mentioning that was the World Press Freedom Day. That's today. How about that? So it being the World Press Freedom Day, excuse me, I said that I would ask our viewers and listeners to focus on the good news today. Just block all the badness out. If it's not good for you to hear, it's not good for your circulatory system and all the systems inside your body. So sometimes you just need to block it out. It's still going to be happening. Somebody going to tell you about it. Trust me. You do not have to be concerned about you missing out, okay? Because it will be there. If you're joining us this morning and you'd like to join the conversation in the 7:30 hour, we'd love to hear from you. 515-605-9325. And remember to press 1 to speak, because if you don't press 1, I can't see your number light up on the switchboard. So you got to press 1. If you're following me on full social media, thank you so much. We're on Facebook Live, Facebook.com. We're live on Facebook.com, HLN TV show. So when you go to Facebook and you see that little logo right there in the background, you know you're at the right one. And that's also our logo on our YouTube channel, Higher Learning TV show. You can watch us there as well. And on Instagram, it's ZeldaSpeaks, the number 2 and the letter U. Okay? ZeldaSpeaks to you. And don't forget, or I should say, remember to join a new social media site from the Women's Media Group. It's called Pixely, Pixeoly, Pixely.com. And there's also another one that's just like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook all in one. It's called Click, KLIKCLIK. So put that on your phone too. And just remember, a woman designed it, because, you know, women are not respected in the IT arena. So you have to keep that in mind and help build support just by downloading the app. It's on Android and iPhone, and participate. You got a message, put it out there. And also, I always mention that, you know, healing is an ongoing issue for myself as well as everyone on the planet. So be sure and check out Natural Healing with Zelda.now.site. That's Zelda.now.site. Okay? And be sure and check out my tower garden too. You know, I got lots of things growing. Oh, can you see my monstera in the back? Oh, I love my new plants. And then I got some, what do you call them? Not ferns. Is it a fern? I can't remember the name of it. I'm just learning, but I'm just loving it. Anyway, Get your free download on diabeticdonut.com. How I reverse type 2 diabetes. If I can do it, you can too. And it's 7:10. Time to take a look at our traffic. Looking beautifully outside today. Traffic and weather is sponsored by Karen Kelly of itex.com. It is looking decent for a Monday, especially after the wonderful weekend we had. It's cool now, but warming up later. Up to 74 degrees today, 58 tomorrow. Who cares? It's not snowing and raining. Anyway, there are no delays reported on Metra and CTA, but inbound on the Kennedy, that's the whole of the story. It is 25 minutes inbound, 21 on the out. As we take a look at the Edens from the junction to Lake Cook Road, 22 inbound, 21 out. On the Eisenhower, that's another story. You know, there's always some delays, slow from Mannheim to Harlem. 30 minutes in, 20 out. On the Stevenson, 16 in, 15 out. And on the Rhine, it's the same, but there are delays just before Roosevelt Road. So 16 minutes inbound, 15 minutes out to 95th. Inbound on the Bishop Ford, 12, 11 on the reverse, and Lakeshore Drive, 10 minutes in both directions. And that's your traffic and weather sponsored by Karen Kelly of itex.com. If you are an entrepreneur, business owner, and in need of supplies, products, or services, we've bought a truck, camera equipment, we've traveled, we've eaten. Everything you can do in the real world, you can do it in this world too, in itex.com. Pay attention or pay cash. So can't say you didn't know about it, because bartering was the system before the paper money came up. Yeah, did you know that? Yeah, bartering was the way to exchange goods and services. But someone got the idea to come up with money and make a little bit for some people and none for others. So that's why we have the discrepancies that we have in the world today. And so you can take advantage of it just by being a barter member. Oh, excuse me, I forgot to tell you, you get $100 to go shopping immediately just by mentioning my name, Zelda. Thank you, Rich McGee, and all the ancestors who came before me to make my way possible, to make your way possible too, because somebody had to be here in order for us to be here. Anyway, I'm going to read to you for our Mother's Day special. Not Mother's Day, but I want to read this to you. I'll read Mother's Day later. It says, when you were a baby, someone cuddled you, gave you love, and took care of all your needs. As you grew and matured, you learned to take care of yourself. Somewhere along the way, you learned the ways of the world, forgetting about your dreams. Those dreams are still with you. It takes courage to live those dreams. Had I not had the courage to begin to live my dreams, I never would have had the career in radio or TV. I never would have had interviews with some of my favorite artists like Shaka Khan, Layla Hathaway, Luther Vandross, yes, Robin Thicke, Ron Isley, Thelma from Good Times, who I think she passed. I don't want to put that out there, but I think I read that. I hope I'm wrong. I'm not going to say that. Thelma from Good Times, Fantasia, so many more. But I said all that to say this, is that dreams do come true. So don't stop dreaming. Dreams come true, but they do require some actions on your part. When you can't find the strength to move forward, simply ask for direction. Believe that it will come true. Now, let me warn you, the committee inside your head, they will easily talk you right out of what's possible. Remind those voices that with God, all things are possible. If Les Brown can do it, so can you. Inspirational Conversations with Shalom Israel, aka ZeldaSpeaks, available at ZeldaSpeaks.com. It's volume 2. And proceeds benefit the Higher Learning Network virtual global teen talent contest, which is the 4th Saturday of every month. If you have not seen our youth perform from all over the world. We have had children, youth, young people from Dubai, South America, Central America, Europe, Canada, Asia, Africa, all over the place. So we are always doing something to help keep our youth focused. And that's why I ask you to go to do what you can do to support them. And that book is one of the ways to do that. And it's available at higherlearningnetwork.org. And you can also go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. So please do that. Higher Learning TV show. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And it's 7:16. You know what that means? 7:15 is the live Monday morning mindfulness meditation. So this is your part to participate this morning in a breathing session that will help you calm you down in times of chaos and confusion, because right about now we're all stressed. And this is something that I've learned that I'm just sharing with you. I am not a medical doctor. I am not anyone who has any type of degrees in medical anything. I just sit and get quiet and get with nature. You see, I'm surrounded by nature, and nature tells me what it is that I need to do. So that's why I always say, when you go outside, be sure and get in some grass, get by a tree, sit by a tree, because the tree has electrical energy, just as it works with the energy that's in your spine. And it connects in a way that enlightens and invigorates you. I got a whole video on it. Just go to my YouTube channel, ZeldaSpeaks, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, so let's have this breathing session as we sit up straight, feet flat on the floor, nothing in our hands, nothing in our laps. Close your eyes. You should not be looking at me, but the inside of your eyelids. Okay, so close your eyes and hold. Inhale. Take a long, deep breath through the nose. Hold it and exhale. What does that do for you? It opens up your mind as well as opens up your chest so that you can breathe. Take long, deep breaths. People see people with oxygen tanks on, they're not getting enough oxygen in the system for a variety of reasons. So breathing is one of the techniques that we use to help to improve our health, as well as mental and physical. All right, so inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Just that one breath alone feels good. If you inhale long and deep, you will feel it immediately. So let's do that again. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Once more. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Now, as you continue breathing in and breathing out on your own, giving thanks for the power of the breath. Because it is the breath of life that keeps us here in this physical formation on the planet. It is the breath of life that makes all things possible. And we give thanks that we are one of the people who made it on this planet today, because someone somewhere, a whole lot of someone somewhere didn't wake up, and you are one of the ones who did. So close your eyes and take a long, deep inhale. Hold it. And exhale. Now your mind will probably wander to your to-do list, breakfast, things you got to do. But this is just your few 5 minutes to yourself, because you deserve this as you close your eyes and continue to breathe in. Bringing all that energy from the breath up to the top of the head. And as you exhale through the nose, bringing that energy down through the breath, through the neck and the shoulders. As you inhale once more. And as you exhale, bring that energy down through the shoulders and the chest, the solar plexus, and the sides, and the back, and the buttocks as we breathe in. Continue breathing in and breathing out on your own, sending light and love and energy through the power of the breath through your hips, your buttocks, your thighs, and your knees. Oh, yes. Rub those glorious knees and thighs that keeps moving even when you sometimes have a little pain or just don't feel like it. But it's all good. As we inhale deeply, roll. Rub those body parts that speak to you. They're sending you messages that you need to be good to me. You need to walk on me. As we inhale deeply. And as we exhale, sending more light and love and energy down through the legs and the ankles and the arches and the instep and the toes. Yes, wiggle those toes as we inhale. Bringing that energy back up through the toes and the arches and the ankles and the ball and the heel of the foot as we give thanks for the power of the breath. Inhale once more. Bringing that energy of the breath back up through the legs and the knees and the thighs as we continue to inhale and exhale. As we inhale, bringing the energy back up through the hips, the chest, and the sides, and the buttocks, and the back. Inhale. Bringing the energy back up to the shoulders, right here, as we begin to massage those shoulders. Oh, because that's where we hold so much of our tension as we inhale deeply. And exhale, just holding those shoulders and taking your fingers and just kneading the shoulders, just kneading the tension. Oh, that feels so good. Just keep kneading the shoulders, releasing the stuck energy in the shoulders. As you take one hand and touch the back of your neck, squeezing the back of your neck with the vagus nerve as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, squeeze that vagus nerve in the back of the neck, sending love and light and energy down through the vagus nerve to the spinal column and down to the other parts of the body as we breathe in. Hold it. And exhale. Oh, that feels so good, doesn't it? Inhale once more. Bringing all the love and the light and the energy back up through the neck and the head and the face into the top of the head as we inhale and exhale. And just marinate in the goodness of that breath. Feel free to move those shoulders and those arms and that whole body just twisted and take a nice long stretch. Yes, as we move, think and give thanks for the power of the stretch. As we inhale once more, take one long, last deep inhale deeply. And exhale. And with this last breath, we are going to twist our bodies just a little bit from the head up. So inhale once more. Hold it. And exhale, bringing your head forward, chin to chest, and slowly rotating, sitting up straight, slowly rotating the head to the left, and slowly bringing it around to the back. Slowly, slow down. You're moving too fast. And slowly bringing it around to the right and back to the front. Oh, yes, that felt good. Head up, inhale deeply. And as you exhale, bring your head down, chin to chest, and slowly rotate the head to the right. Slowly, in small increments so you can feel every part of that stretch in your neck. And slowly bringing the head around back to the front, chin to chest, head up, inhale deeply. And as you exhale, look to the left as far as you possibly can, feeling a stretch in the right of the neck. And bringing the head back forward. Inhale deeply. And as you exhale, turning your head to the right as far as you possibly can, feeling a stretch in the left side of the neck. And bringing the head back front and center. As you inhale deeply. And exhale. Now, doesn't that feel delicious? Let's try that again. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Take one more long, lasting, deep inhale together now. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Now, how does that feel? Refreshing, I'll bet. That is your Monday morning mindfulness experience that you can try anywhere. That's a breathing technique. You can try whenever you're stressed out, somebody getting on your last nerve. You simply inhale deeply and hope you got a little garlic or onion on your breath and go. And trust me, they will bag up. Won't they, baby?
Yes.
Yeah. And that, my friend, is something you can count on. You got a little stank on your breath in the morning. You forgot to brush your teeth, and your breath is woo. You blow your breath. Trust me, they will bag up. It always works. So go to my YouTube channel, and you can see testimonials as well as other techniques to help you during the course of your day when you're stressed out. What a wonderful way to start the day. I hope you enjoyed your Monday morning mindfulness stress relief session, and you too can practice it. All you have to do is to remember is to what? Breathe in and breathe out. How hard is that? That's not hard at all. All you have to do is breathe. It's because that's something that they don't teach you. Our executive producer, who will be on with us in the 9 o'clock hour for the after show, says, Grand Rising, beautiful queen teacher, looking gorgeous as always. Well, I am just a reflection of you, my sister. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. So while we go to a message break for you, we have some very important messages for you. I want you to send a text to your 10 closest friends and tell them to join the Mother's Day tribute this morning, because we all have a mother. Even as Robin Harris would say, the test tube babies, they got mothers too, even if they were born in a tube. Anyway, excuse me, be sure and join in tomorrow, Tuesday, for self-care with our host, Jody Susan. And on Wednesday, Naima Latif and Kareem Hamid, repairing family relationships. On Thursday, it's Women's Roundtable. And on Friday, health and wellness with Viata. And on Saturdays, on the weekends, we are not on from 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. We're on at 12 noon until 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. So the first Saturday is nonviolent communication with Jana. She is our London, England, our European correspondent. She's a sister, but she's in London. And I love her accent. And on the second Saturday is the Black Taboo with Love, Joy, and Powers. Third Saturday, Travel with Deborah. You ready to hit the road? You need to know some things, because I learned some things this last show on Deborah's. Is like, oh, okay, because you hear so much conflicting news about travel. You just don't know what to do. So be sure and tune in for that. Third Saturday, Travel with Deborah. And on fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D, our very own Mama D. She brings it to you raw, uncut, always keeping it real. So be sure. Every fourth Saturday, mark your calendar. And on Sundays is Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. If you didn't get a chance to hear it last night, it comes on at 7 p.m. on Sunday night. I always post all the shows on my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. I know, slow down, Zelda. Talk too fast. ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com. There's always information there, and you can always go to the archives on blogtalkradio.com 24/7. It's always, always, always in the archives, and you can always listen to it. So happy, excuse me, excuse me, happy Mother's Day. If you would like to call in and wish your mom a happy Mother's Day today, we'd love to have you. But coming up in the 7:30 hour, I will be joined by my co-host. That would be Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq of Community Cultivations, and I will also be joined by our sign language interpreter, and that will be Mary Shelton from North Carolina. I think it's Fuqua. I hope I said the right thing. 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak, and we'll take your call right after these messages.
About finances, family, health, job, relationships. Are you in pain? Do you feel stuck? If you answer yes to any of these questions, help is available. Don't worry, you're not alone. It's part of the human process. You only feel this way because you haven't mastered voices in your head. No hype, just down to earth, solid, workable tools and techniques that you can practice daily. It's really food for the soul. Whether you want to learn how not to worry about anything, reverse type 2 diabetes, publish a book, promote your product or service, or just make extra money. To take advantage of the deal of the day, go to ZeldaSpeaks.com or call 212-409-6619. Mention promo code FEMAIL Solution and get free shipping. ZeldaSpeaks.com or 312-409-6619. Stop worrying today. Visit ZeldaSpeaks.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cedra of Valona Health, where we combine orthopedic manual therapy and neuroscience to treat the whole person. Health tip for the day is keep it moving. Doesn't matter how, just keep it moving doing something you enjoy. Walking, dancing, rolling on the floor with your dogs or kids, really anything. The body craves movement to keep its bones, joints, and muscles happy. Even our mental health and internal organs and digestive system rely on our movement. Thanks for being a part of the Higher Learning Network, the Female Solution.
We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy, happy families. If we impart values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Are you constantly arguing with your spouse? Are your children misbehaving and acting out? Is someone in your family losing joy? Have you been taking that domestic violence? Are you grieving over loss of a loved one? Let us help you restore serenity to your life. At Serenity Family Social Services, we understand that good mental health is the result of emotional well-being. Our goal is to assist you and your family in removing emotional distress and restoring harmony and balance to your lives. We offer individual, couples, and family counseling. I'm Howard Williams, CEO of Serenity Family Social Services. Call today at 312-315-4820. That's 312-315-4820.
We all say we would like to be wealthy, but wealth isn't determined by how much money you have. Wealth is determined by your power to define what money is. The dictionary defines money as something used as a way to pay for goods and services and to pay people for their work. So how would you like to have access to an unlimited source of money? Money that is not taxed by the government. Money that increases as you share the opportunity with others. money that you can use to pay for goods and services and pay people for their work. I'm talking about Bitcoin. It's the future of independent wealth building. Bitcoin is the new money that you control. Get started building your wealth. Call 312-849-3456. That's 312-849-3456.
Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us back here on the Female Solution this morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. I'm your host, ZeldaSpeaks, and I'm joined by our sign language interpreter, Mary Shelton from Fuquay, North Carolina, who is joining us this morning. And also, as soon as she is ready, I can pull her on the screen, and I'll be going to the phone lines at 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq will be joining us right now. Mary, your phone is sideways, so that does not look good. Yeah, there you go. Hi, beautiful.
Hey there, the Duke power.
Grand Rising.
Power, so.
Oh, you lost your power this morning.
They just turned it back on.
Wow, talk about divine order. You were supposed to be here this morning. Oh, you look so pretty this morning. Where are you going so early in the morning? Looking so good.
Good morning. Good morning.
We were yesterday during our weekly Sister of the Microphone call, I call it. Naima taught us a little sign language in, I forgot what we were talking about, but she did. What did she do this?
Hello?
Oh, that means hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Because as each, this is good morning.
Yes, good morning. And you did stress relief.
Oh, do that again. Stress
relief.
Oh, stress relief. Oh, I gotta remember this.
Yes.
Stress
relief. Yes.
Stress relief.
Watching you this morning doing your stress relief.
Oh wow, thank you. Is it this way or this way?
Either way, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just hello. Okay. That's great.
Hello. Thank you for joining us this morning. So thank you for joining us this morning on another day. We appreciate you. Yeah. And we will be joined by Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq. He is not on video with us this morning, but he's on the phone. So let us go to the phone at 515-605-9325. Let us welcome Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq of Community Cultivations.
Haqq is H-A-Q-Q.
H-A-Q-Q.
Okay.
Did I get that right, Lionel? All right. Grand Rising. How do we do Grand Rising, Mary?
Well, I don't know. Grand
Same
Rising.
thing, just say so.
I'm gonna go
How about
Grand Rising.
Okay. But thank you so much for joining us this morning, Lionel Abdul Haqq.
Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate the opportunity to share with you ladies and brother with the listening audience. And I thank you once again for the opportunity.
And in the words of Baba Kwame Sunhorse, he would say, thank us. Us being universal spirit.
Thank us.
Because it is the spirit of the Most High that brings us together today as we celebrate the reason, one of the main reasons why we're here. We're celebrating the women who nurture everyone everywhere. And we know that Brother Lionel always brings such a much needed, fresh perspective. So how is it, Lionel, that you come with such words of wisdom?
basically want to start off by wishing every Muslim who is fasting a blessed Ramadan, halfway through. And I want to extend a blessing to those who are celebrating Mother's Day, recognizing the contribution of motherhood to our social reality, our life reality. We've had this discussion before. I've been coming on with you now, going on 3 years now, right?
Oh, has it been that long already? Wow.
Yeah, at least 3 years. I looked up and realized how long it's been. It's been a blessing. I really appreciate the opportunity, like I said, because I believe that what we're trying to share is really worthy of being exposed, and I look forward to every opportunity I get to do so.
Amen.
And as I said, we've done this discussion before because our focus is on culture and the influences of culture. And so every year we celebrate Mother's Day. We want to have a discussion about it, just like 4th of July, Father's Day, Memorial Day. And all of these things have become so commonplace that we really, I think, lost connection with the true meaning of most of them, and it has become just another opportunity to have some fun. But that's a big problem. It's a big problem that we've also tried to emphasize how serious the childish mentality that is pervasive in Western society, particularly in America, where people, all they want to do is play. All they want to do is have fun, and they're very, very limited in their ability to have serious discussions, serious work. And this is part of the problem that we want to try to address.
Amen. Well, that's what they teach us. That's what they show us, and that's what we believe. We meaning as a society, not myself, and some others who are trying to find their way through the maze. And we are grateful to you for bringing this experience. Go right ahead.
Part of the tradition of the culture is to reinforce certain ideas over and over again. The whole purpose of the observer is to reinstill the ideal, the concept of motherhood consistently in the society. So every year it builds up, every child grows up each year recognizing that this is something that we do. However, it was pointed out some time ago by one of my great teachers, person whom I had the pleasure to work very closely with, Imam Muhammad, and the peace be upon him. He used to say that, pointed out that the whole idea of celebrating motherhood and fatherhood is backwards. We should really be celebrating husbands and wives before we celebrate motherhood and fatherhood. And this is not an accident. I think it is contributing mightily to the situation of social disunity and disconnect that is pervasive in our society, and that those who created this idea knew the kind of imbalance that it would create. Celebrating mothers and fathers before we celebrate husbands and wives is a willful and deliberate effort to undermine our social cohesion and our social vision. And the consequences are obvious in the number of unwed mothers, the disconnect between men and women, husbands and wives. This is a big problem. The whole concept of relationships, where sex and sex outside of marriage, sex with members of the same sex has become a pervasive social reality. It wasn't always like this. It's been getting more and more popular and pervasive as time goes on. But all of these issues have to do with those who shape and influence our thinking through the culture, the so-called culture.
Mm-hmm.
We call it a culture.
Mm-hmm.
OCCULTURE. And so one of the things we wanted to talk about, being that I do movie reviews, as part of our program to educate and inform, this movie called Imitation of Life
Yes.
is a standard part of this time of year. Somebody gonna be showing this movie between now and Mother's Day or the end of the month. And I guarantee you it's something that people are very, very familiar with, this movie. However, there were two, actually. There were two movies. One that was, the first one involved a black woman who made pancakes.
Right.
And the second one involved a black woman who was an actress. And the real key to the story is the maid's daughter, who was very light complexion, probably the result of one of the mother's work owners or the bosses having sex with her and making her pregnant. And she had a really half-breed, half Caucasian, half African-American child who was very, very light and who grew up hating the fact that her mother was a black woman and that she would consistently try to hide the fact that she was black in preference to being white. And she hated her mother to the extent that she tried to distance herself from her as she got older. And at the end of the movie, she realized how much her mother had helped her and sacrificed for her, and had a real tearjerker kind of an effect on people at the end of the movie. So we think it's important for us to focus on this movie a little bit, and I'd like to read the review that I did on it and give your listeners an opportunity to critique my critique.
Okay, please do.
Imitation of Life. When movies is a familiar phrase that implies a significant difference between those from the golden age of Hollywood and today. Among them, an extreme contrast in the nature, spirit, and effect of movies upon mass audiences as a most appropriate focus for our review of this classic drama, Imitation of Life. Irrefutably, the nature and spirit of movies today are violent and irreverent. Imitation of Life is prototypical of what the early days of movies were like in nature and spirit. Commonly called tearjerkers, the movies of this era were characteristically idealistic, patriotic, and highly sentimental. The lines of distinction between right and wrong, good and evil were expressed in these terms. Thus, the judgment of American society on issues of morality and social justice was clearly influenced by Hollywood's projection of values with words and images of black and white. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word became flesh. This quote is taken from St. John of the Bible. For many Christians, it literally conveys the fundamental concept called the Trinity, upon which church doctrine on the divinity of Jesus is based. 1 billion Muslims and other people of faith, however, consider the literal word, like our physical body, to the world, to be a protective cover for the real life within. Thus, the creation of Adam from clay and the forbidden fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and indeed the birth, death, and resurrection of Jesus the Christ are all metaphors to be decoded. The incarnation of the word, the incarnation of the word is in fact what has occurred. It is our contention that the literal understanding, historically fostered and strictly enforced by the haves upon the have-nots, is the original sin, a blasphemous violation of the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other God before me. The worship of anything incarnate is idolatry, which disrupts the mind and establishes an imitation of life. Now, there's more to this, I'm not going to use the whole thing.
Right.
This idea of an imitation of false reality is something that we've discussed before, and it goes all the way back, and it makes it necessary for us to go back to study history and the formation of different nations and societies over generations, not just within the last 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes all the way back to Kemet, with the symbol that the Washington Monument is a copy of. It's called a Haqq, and it's they used to line be out in front of the temples of ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, before it was changed the name to Egypt. It was called Kemet. They had these two monumental symbols of the resurrection. That's what they were representing, the resurrection. And this information has been passed down in a metaphorical form as an imitation, a false representation of what human life had come to be prior to the imitation, to the conquest of ancient Kemet and the destruction of black civilization.
Mm.
And that's what we would like to discuss. All of that in the context of Mother's Day and the cultural orientation surrounding celebrating mothers before we celebrate husbands and wives.
You are right on target as usual, as you always are. This conversation reminds me of a conversation that we had just yesterday with some of my sisters of the table, I should say. My bid whist sisters. We're all roller skaters, but some of us no longer skate. So we play bid whist cards. It's like bridge. And the conversation got around to shopping, of course, because that's what we are taught to do all day long is shop. I hate it. When you're on the computer, if you ever shop for anything and you didn't purchase, or even if you did purchase it, it just pops up on your computer all the time. It's like shop, shop, shop. And I love what you say about how what we've been conditioned to do, how culture is being shaped and influenced, not for the better, but to disrupt the mind. Because as the conversation continued, we were talking about the cost of hair and the cost of shoes and the cost of clothing, and how women, especially some mothers, who have a tendency to put their own personal needs before that of their family, meaning their husband or boyfriend or significant other, as well as their children. So yeah, we are really off centered. And the fact that you bring this up makes us conscious of it. For those who are not, please share this video with someone, because we are not blaming you for the decisions, even though you are responsible for the decisions that you make, but just to be aware of how this culture that influences all cultures, how we are being programmed, shaping and influencing our culture. That's all it is programming. That's all programming is shaping our culture. So how do we continue to recognize that and move beyond that, Lionel?
Well, it begins by understanding, that these things do not just come out of nowhere. They have a root, they have a foundation, and that foundation is where you have to recognize the greatest influence of these ideas are coming from. They're not coming from what happened yesterday or a couple of days ago. This is coming from decades, centuries of planning and influencing people's behavior the same way you would influence a child. You teach the child what you want the child to know, and you reinforce those ideas in the context of the child's level of consciousness. And you want the child to grow up, which is a big part of the so-called cultural orientation of I never want to grow up, never wanting to be old, never wanting to be considered to be too serious or mature in your judgment and behavior. These are all ideas that have been cultivated willfully and deliberately and propagated to masses of people for the purpose of their adopting these shallow, superficial ideas as norm.
Yes.
So that they would be easier to control and manipulate and exploit. So the only reason why you can have 1% of the people contributing 90% of the wealth is because everybody else is asleep. Everybody else is a child, and you only got a few adults running things.
Okay, you are absolutely right. And some of our callers want to join the conversation this morning. 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. We've got a call. We're going to take 773-977. You're live on the Female Solution. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your comment?
Well, good morning. This is Lois here in Chicago, Illinois, in the South Shore area. Just saying hello to everyone this morning, and happy Mother's Day to those good mothers. Now, if you know you haven't been a good mother, don't expect to receive a happy Mother's Day. Anyway, yes, I'd like to really ask the interpreter a question, if she's still on the line.
Yes, that's Mary Shelton from North Carolina.
She has a question for
Hi,
me.
Mary Shelton, how are you today?
Yes, she has a question for you. She said, "Good morning. How are you today?"
Good morning. I'm fine, thank you. And how are you?
Thank you. We're all through COVID and what have you. But, I have a sister who passed away there in North Carolina. Where are you?
I'm in North Carolina in Fuquay, Barina.
Fuquay.
Oh, okay. Fuquay? Okay.
Right. It's
So
right
I think that
Raleigh.
language, how long have you been doing sign language? And I've done sign language 1 and sign language 2, and I had an arm injury, and I wasn't able to really continue on years ago in my life. And at that time, they were making $75 per hour. Is it twice that much now, or 3 times that much now? Do I tell me if you know?
She's asking what's the rate of sign language interpreters.
I still didn't hear it. I'm sorry. You were breaking up a little bit.
She was asking what was the rate for sign language interpreters.
Oh, she's grateful for the sign language interpreting. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to hear that.
Yes, and Lois, as far as I know, I Googled it a couple of weeks ago, and they do make between $75 and $200 an hour, depending on what type of culture they're in. If it's corporate culture, of course, you can make more, but for other instances, it may not be that much. So it varies by degrees. So.
Oh,
That's
she asked how much.
Thank you very much. I know that it takes really good.
Yeah.
And I was injured by the police officer in the police officer in 1990. And so since that time, my right arm has been really totally out of whack. So I use it, thanks for it. So I had a couple that was doing sign language. The wife was singing, and the husband was doing sign language at the same time. And there were no handicapped people in the house, period. So what do you think about a situation like that? You don't mind?
You're a little bit off topic this morning, but I'm gonna let her answer that. She says, "What do you think about?" Did you hear her question?
No, I didn't.
What do you think about sign language interpreters? Repeat that question again, Lois.
Okay. I have a niece. Her name is Aretha, and her husband is an interpreter. And while she sings, he interprets in sign language. And there are no hearing impaired people in the audience. What do you think about a situation like that?
So let me see. Did you understand her?
No, I didn't.
Let me see if I'm understanding you right, Lois. You said there is a wife who sings while the husband does the sign language, and there's nobody in the audience who's hearing impaired?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Well, no, it does. I used to interpret for a church, and there was only one person in the church. Yes, so they do hire interpreters for churches that have one hearing impaired person in the congregation.
Okay.
So they do. I interpreted for a church for 2 years for one hearing impaired person in the congregation.
Okay, because
yes, they do.
It makes a difference to that one person.
It makes a difference to that one person if that pastor wants to do that.
Okay.
So yes, there's always I interpret for schools, churches, hospitals, dentist's office, physical therapy. There's a myriad of places you can interpret. I encourage you to learn it. It's not hard. There's also one other thing called cued speech, which is only 26 lessons. Cued speech, CUED speech. It's phonetic, and it's only done with one hand. So people with one hand can do it, and it's only done with one hand from here to here, and it's phonetic, and you do every single syllable.
Wow.
Called cued speech, CUED speech, and we're off topic, and I really hope that that will help somebody that wants to do that.
So thank you. I'm glad you asked the question. Thank you so much for asking that question, Lois from Chicago. It's 8:04. It's time for our commercial break, and we will be right back. So you stay close.
Everything you need, what your body needs, is found in nature. So Susan Essentials doesn't do it any other way.
Tucson Essentials provides your employees and individuals access to over 20,000 nutritional products, and they are shipped direct to your door. Because Tucson Essentials is certified in plant-based healing, we're committed to offer you the best nutritional supplements on the planet. They're non-GMO and sustainably produced, and we take the guesswork out for you. Let Tucson Essentials help you take control of your health today.
This is Minister Cynthia Marie Williams, spiritual counselor and advisor. I invite you to a private reading in the areas of business, health, finances, relationships. My introductory cost of $20. Please call because there is a higher power that can help me help you. 312-802-4743. Peace and blessings to you all. Call me. 312-802-4743.
Oh man, God sent the monthly sun bill today. This sunlight is really expensive, especially during this season. I'll probably have to work overtime to pay it.
Well, you better pay it on time. We don't want the sun to go out and we're sitting up here all day in the dark.
Wouldn't it be terrible if God charged us for sunlight? Well, thank God, the light and heat from the sun is free. So why are we paying such high bills for the energy we use in our homes? Because we don't know how to use solar energy, the free energy from the sun. You can convert your regular home to a solar energy home and save tremendously on your electric bill. Take a look at your electric bill. Wouldn't you like to reduce or possibly even eliminate that cost altogether? Let one of our solar consultants show you how. Call today, 312-849-3456, and schedule a free consultation. That's 312-849-3456.
I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocols to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata.
Hi, I'm Dr. CJ of Valona Health, where we combine orthopedic manual therapy and neuroscience to treat the whole person. Health tip for the day is keep it moving. Doesn't matter how, just keep it moving doing something you enjoy. Walking, dancing, rolling on the floor with your dogs or kids, really anything. The body craves movement to keep the bones, joints, and muscles happy. Even our mental health and internal organs and digestive system rely on our movements. Thanks for being a part of the Higher Learning Network and the Female Solution.
Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us back here on the Female Solution. I am joined by our sign language interpreter, Mary Shelton, author of
Silence Isn't Golden.
and a little bit about that book.
This is my life story growing up with 2 deaf, mute, handicapped parents, hearing impaired parents. And this is my life story. It's available on Amazon.
And it's a wonderful story that includes her journey with sign language, as well as her story about her missing brother, who was stolen at birth. Very intriguing. So you must go get it. Silence
Yes,
isn't
you must get
golden.
my book.
Silence isn't golden. Alrighty, we are joined by Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq of Community Cultivations for our Mother's Day celebration. And if you'd like to join the conversation, 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak with area code 336-350. You are live on the Female Solution with Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq of Community Cultivations. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your comment as it relates to our Mother's Day special?
Greetings, Sister Zelda. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Mama AZ, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, ma'am. Your text woke me up. I tuned in a little bit late, but sometimes my phone speaks.
Oh.
And I'm like, whoa, I'm late. Anyway, thank you, and greetings to your guest, Brother Lionel, and Miss Mary. Is it Shelton or Sheldon?
Shelton. Shelton.
Right.
Okay, that's what I corrected. All right. I'm calling from Buffalo Soldier Country out here at Fort Naco, Arizona, or Fort Huachuca. And my question is, number one, where I forgot, I lived in North Carolina for 40 years almost.
Oh, wow.
And I forgot where Fuquay Marina is. Is that near Fort Bragg?
Am I near what?
Fort Bragg.
Yes. I am near Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Anyway, what I'd like to say is,
didn't hear the rest.
Does your sign language, do your children, do the young people tap on to your teaching of the sign language to help the adults in any capacity that may have to do with sign language? Do you have a lot of young people that are attracted, that would like to learn to assist the next generations and beyond? The next 7 generations is what I'm wanting to say. Did I say that correctly? You understand what I said?
Does the next generation want to learn sign language?
No, with the young people in your immediate circle, do they tap to the learning of the sign language for any reason? Period. Do they gravitate to that learning?
Do the young people in your area gravitate towards sign language to learning that at all? I don't know how that has to do with anything with Mother's Day, but
no.
Okay.
Unfortunately not. I
No.
have tried to encourage people, young people, that it's a good language to learn. Not here in the South. It is not.
Wow.
It's not something that they're not interested in it.
Okay, you're really breaking up, but that makes sense because of what Brother Lionel said. They have a think tank created. They're always thinking when we are asleep and continue to want to stay asleep of how to infiltrate the negative flow, keep it going. And from my perspective, sign language is very, very important. To me, it goes hand in hand with mental telepathy. You know, you're thinking with your mind, and people can receive the information without saying anything. And sign language is next door to that. It's like the bookends. It's like their cousins. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I could see why they would put into place the ways of not wanting to learn the value of sign languages. And what I wanted to say to Brother Lionel is, how can we go around this BS that they continue to put into motion for eons and break the spell and create something that will be solid to keep us from being locked down for the next 7 generations? How do we defeat this? And again, family, sign language, in my country, goes hand in hand with mental communication without saying anything. So I would encourage you, family, to put that in your peace pipe and drum smoke on it, meaning think about it. Think about it.
Okay. Excellent question. Excellent question for Lionel Abdul. Thank you so much for mentioning that, Mama Z. What's your you want to respond to that, Lionel? How can we? Yeah, there is.
Communication. Whose dog is that?
That's Mary Shelton's dog. The dog is communicating with us. Let him know. Tell him we hear him. Her.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No. There's nothing to be sorry about. The dog is communicating with us. He's listening.
Yeah.
Is it a boy or girl?
It's a girl.
It's a girl. She's listening. Sasha, we hear you, Miss Sasha, and we respect that your territory, girl. We hear you. It's because you're a mother too. Okay, Miss Sasha. Yeah. On our sister of the microphone call yesterday, one of our hosts, Tuesday morning hosts, Jody Susan of Self Cell Care, had her parrot, Fagala, and Fagala was in the camera, but she was just talking to us like, "Yes, girl, we hear you." When you are awakening, Naima is going to do a show on this, on interspecies communication.
Okay.
Because you hear a dog barking in the background, or you hear a bird, or you hear a cat meowing. They're talking to us, man. We're so caught up in our own communication that we don't hear them. It sounds like an irritation to the average person. So I apologize, Sasha, for not speaking up earlier and acknowledging that you were part of this conversation as well, even though that we don't see you. Your comments on that, Lionel?
No, I don't have any comments on that.
Well, that is quite all right. Let's go to the phone line, take another call. Do we have time? Yes, 818. 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. Who did I get this call? Yeah, I just did get the call. That's Mama AZ. I thought I saw another hand up, but I'll go back to it. But I think, Mary, we need to do a separate show on sign language, because that's the second call we've had this morning about sign language. So
yes.
I got that, and that might have been what Sasha was telling us this morning. So I got that. So we're going to schedule one when your time allots.
That's fine.
We can just do a whole show on sign language. Yes, ma'am.
That'll be fine.
I take it that Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq does not necessarily, what's the word I'm looking for? Believe in Okay, Sasha. Intercommunication with different species. What are your thoughts on that, Lionel, while we're on the subject?
Well, that's not the subject that I called in to talk about.
Okay.
So I'm not interested in that.
Okay.
And I was hoping, if y'all want to talk about that, then I'll just leave.
No.
I'm going back to talk about that because that has nothing to do with the conversation
Okay.
we're having.
Well, just continue with your
I
subject.
don't want to continue to deviate from what I called in to talk about, which I thought was important enough to devote the time to. And but if y'all don't want to talk about that, y'all want to talk about Byron, then I can leave do that. I'll just leave.
No, that's why I ask you to go ahead and finish your thoughts on the topic of conversations, the Mother Day special from Community Cultivations. So please continue.
The
Hmm?
biggest problem that we have in America is not COVID. It's the inability to maintain any kind of a serious discussion
Mm-hmm.
for any sustained period of time. The idea of imitating an imitation of life that the movie portrayed is really tragic. It's tragic for one child to think like that. When you have a whole society of people, a whole race of people, kidnapped from their home and brought into another place, and all of their history has been erased and supplanted with basically BS, fantasy, and foolish ideas that make it very, very difficult for people to be mature, to be serious, to even have a serious focus for any sustained period of time. This is the biggest problem we got. And COVID, the COVID disease or mental illness as a whole is directly supported by this mentality, this fun mentality. And I think it's important that we recognize, as the young people say, and get real, as the young people say, and grow up, because that's not where we are right now. And the problems that confront us are going to be more serious because of how we've been misled, bamboozled, run amok, and led astray. And just like in the past, with Sodom and Gomorrah, ancient Rome, ancient Greece, this can only last. This is an unsustainable situation, and if we don't change, if we don't get real, it's going to take us in the same direction that those societies went. And I think it's serious enough for us to have a couple of, at least an hour or so of serious discussion about how we got this way and how we need to turn off these mediums that fill us with, that feed this fun, play, escape mentality. Escapism is not the way. It's not the way we're going to solve our problems. It's not the way grown people, old school people deal with things. And we need to get back in touch with what we've been separated from. Again, our history, the depth of our history has been willfully and deliberately omitted from the curriculum of the public schools. Even they don't do movies about ancient Egypt unless they tell a lie and say that they were white people. This is a serious issue. What we did and how our civilization was based. Quite different than what's going on right now, and we, except for the fact that they have produced an imitation of what we had. When you look at all these pyramids on the dollar bill, when you look at the fact that they've actually moved a couple of those resurrection symbols from the temples of ancient Kemet and moved them into Vatican City, right in front of right in the middle of St. Peter's Square, this is one of the original tickets. They used to line be outside the front of the temples. That symbol of the resurrection. And we have them in London. We have one in New York. These are the originals. And so we didn't move these megaton structures all the way from ancient Kemet, Egypt, to these other places and set them up for nothing. We don't have a fake ticket, the Washington Monument, sitting in front of the White House or in the area of the White House. And we need to try to understand, get deep in our understanding on the knowledge that we see about these issues, and that's where our resurrection will come from. When we know why they've gone to the trouble to hide that information and to try to copy that information, it'll be a resurrection for our spiritually as a human society. Not just the black society, but the human society. We need a rebirth of our human spirit, a mature human spirit. And that's not what we got right now.
So what's the process? And with so much programming, how do we begin to even be conscious, to be awake, to be aware?
Once you know that you're being deceived, once you know that you're being misled, you don't just take it and suck it up like they have no problem. You have to go slow. Whatever you eat, whatever you consume in your mind and your spirit, you have to examine it before you take it in. You have to start to examine the roots of it, where it came from, how consistent is it with other ideas that have not been introduced into our educational and cultural processes. Instead of just knowing one religion that has 360 different denominations, we should try to study all the religions. Instead of just studying American history, we should try to study the history of the world and how America impacted the rest of the world. That's how you get understanding. Understanding by going back to where it started and see how it was then and progress your way forward to see where it deviated from the original.
I am so glad you said that.
The tree of the knowledge of good and evil is to make lies out of truth. And you make a lie out of the truth by adding something to it or taking something from it. And that's what we have gone wrong. We have digested the literal idea of God incarnate, Word incarnate, to be God incarnate. And the consequences of that is what the first commandment told you would happen. You will eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you will consume these lies, and you will surely die. And the death is the death of our spiritual life. And the people who run this world have killed our spiritual life. We are living like zombies, without conscience, without thinking. We just follow the program and don't have any understanding whatsoever.
I am so
glad. That's got to change.
I am so glad you said that, Lionel, because during my discovery of self, I was not happy with the manner in which I was brought up in Catholic school. And when my mom passed and I became an adult, I said to myself, it just never felt right for me. Something was wrong. Something was missing. I didn't know what it was. But so I was invited to an event that by some other people who were not of my faith. And I had the opportunity to study with those of the Baha'i faith, the Christian faith, the Nation of Hebrew Israelites, and the Nation of Islam. And each individual religion taught me something different that I did not get when I was just with being a Catholic. And that way of thinking and being opened my eyes, because I was taught that, and Jehovah Witness too, let me add that on there, that if you were not part of a certain sect, if you didn't belong to a certain religion, then in other words, my religion is better than your religion. And that's not what the Nation of Islam taught me, is to be less judgmental and to accept people where they are in their life. And I think once we all get to that level of consciousness, that everything is not for everybody, you take from each religion what appeals to you, and you not run with that, but you walk with that, however you want to phrase that. So that's crucial. I'm so glad you said that. It's 8:31. If you're just joining the conversation, it's a Mother's Day special, Community Cultivations with Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq. And when we come back after the break, we're going to try to get some more calls. 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. And we will take your call after the break. So stay close.
Hey, it's time to take charge of your health. I'm Bianca, your holistic life coach, and every Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I'm here on the Female Solution to empower you to make choices that will assist your evolution to abundant health. I'm also blogging every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at Soul Perfect Healing, where I bring you a spiritual chiropractic adjustment to bring you back into alignment with our Creator's love, compassion, and wisdom. Join me every Friday morning at 8 a.m. and Sunday evening at 8 p.m. for a time of unity, enlightenment, and low vibration. Shalom.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif. Join me and my co-host Kareem Hamid every Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the Female Solution Radio Show, as we explore that relationship that is the foundation for our society, the relationship between men and women, husbands and wives. Join our discussion as we seek to repair broken family ties and rebuild our community. Listen online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to our host. Or you can join us live on Facebook at www.facebook.com/the-female-solution.
With a simple blood test and food plan, Tucson Essentials will help your business, your family, and you eliminate toxins and create a step-by-step plan to nourish your mind, body, and spirit. Click here to learn more.
Tucson Essentials is re-engineering what health looks like by leading you to the best wellness initiatives in the world. Start your coaching plan today and create a new paradigm of health. Click here to learn more.
Do you have a product or service? Take your business global and get new customers from around the world. Advertise on the Female Solution Radio Show. You may have a great product. You may even have a fantastic website. But how do you let people know you exist? Tell them. Promote your business on one of the most dynamic shows on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution. You'll reach an enthusiastic audience of more than 100,000 loyal daily listeners with a specially designed 30-second ad that will drive customers directly to your website. We'll send you statistics as tracked by Blog Talk Radio to let you know the numbers and demographics of those hearing your advertisement. Your ad will run a live 2-hour morning show from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and it will be heard all day long by listeners archive shows. You'll reach our worldwide audience on their laptops, iPods, iPads, and cell phones. Watch the orders for your products or service increase. Just go to our website, www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com, and click on the radio advertising page. Send us your words. We'll create a 30-second radio ad and watch your business increase worldwide.
Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us back here on The Female Solution. I'm your host, ZeldaSpeaks, joined by Mary Shelton, our sign language interpreter from Fairquay, North Carolina, and Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq of Community Cultivations, as we were discussing a Mother's Day special with Brother Lionel, and we were talking about how we need to deprogram ourselves if we are to get serious about what's going on this planet and how everything is affecting us, because we have been shaped and influenced in this culture to just really waste time and really not pay attention to, as the Brother Lionel said, relationships, as opposed to mothers. We honor mothers, but the relationship is so very important. And right about now, relationships are a challenge. I'll say it like that. Brother Khalid Scott, who will be on next week with another Mother's Day tribute, talks about how his business is booming because of the fact that people have to stay home and they have to live with each other now. So it is a constant challenge. So what are your words of wisdom to help move us forward in this endeavor, Lionel?
As always, I think it's important for us to be sincere, first and foremost, and sincere to the Creator, to whoever, however you understand our Creator. If you sincerely pray and ask for guidance, don't ask for money, don't ask for a boyfriend or girlfriend.
Okay.
Ask for guidance. Ask for understanding. And then get up off of your knees or wherever you pray, and then get up and go seek knowledge and understanding. The more knowledge you get, and God will guide you if you sincerely ask to be guided. But a lot of guidance is already there. You already have fundamental guidance about what's right and what's wrong in the language that you learn from animals. Animals don't smoke. Animals don't drink.
Wow.
They're communicating something to you when you blow some smoke at a dog. We could be your dog. You could raise him from a pup, but that dog will start to growl at you.
Yeah.
If you blow smoke in his face. This is a language, a universal language that we have totally abandoned about what is good for you and what is bad for you, that has to do with the fundamental nature of the things that you are being invited to do. If your nature tells you that it's wrong, you should leave it the hell alone. And to the extent that we've been conditioned to accept behavior that is fundamentally against the very nature of life, universally, should tell you that the people who are putting these things on us are not our friends. They have a lot of money, a lot of power, and they control mass media programming, and they are constantly bombarding us with ideas that undermine our common sense and our human intelligence. Our sense of humanity is to be caring people. If we wave your hand in the air like you just don't care for the last 50 years, you need to deprogram.
How do you know you need to deprogram because you're so programmed? How do you get around that? How do you know that?
Know that these people are not programming you and directing you in ways that are in your best interest. Know that.
Right. Okay.
Whatever it is they tell you to do, you need to examine it carefully. You need to pray and ask God to guide you so you can get to a better understanding. But you got to get up and go to work.
Okay.
You ain't going to fall out the sky.
Okay.
You got to work. If you want understanding, you got to seek it. You can't just equip it and go come fall in your lap. You can't continue to watch All My Children and Dancing with the Stars if you're looking for understanding.
Okay. Yeah, well.
Because it ain't there. It ain't there.
Oh, my goodness. 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. If you would like to join the conversation this morning on the Mother's Day special with Lionel Abdul Haqq from Community Cultivations, and let's try to get some of these calls before the show is off the air. 706-202 Grand Rising. You're live on the Female Solution. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Grand Rising. This is Brother Kwame from the West from Georgia.
Grand Rising. Thank you for calling.
Greetings to my. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Okay, greetings to your two guests, Mary and Assalamu alaikum to my brother Lionel. The part in which I'm hearing, and the question I would like to ask Mary, and being a specialist in sign language, is sign language utilized for international communication? Say that you were in a party of hearing impaired that were from different countries. Would they be able to understand what you're saying by using that one language?
No, they would not.
Wow.
It's not international. It's
it's American Sign Language.
It's American Sign Language. Correct.
Okay.
Yes, I used to collect all the ones for my dad when he had Alzheimer's. I used to collect videos from all the other different countries for my dad because my dad had Alzheimer's. But back then we had the VHS tapes. So it is different for different countries. Good question. Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Thank you for that. Brother Lionel, you're speaking on the mothers and you're talking about the tech. It's very important, and you spoke too with the imitation of life. And that was a programming in that, because that's the first time I ever saw my father cry was watching it at the drive-in there in Chicago. The part for me is it's understanding that, and as I am a man now, the thing that I see with it is the learning tree. Gordon Parks movie that he did about telling our story about our young men. And what we're looking at is, at Imitation of Life was a programming program that they created to give us the image of what they were doing to be able to take that child, that daughter, from our mother, put her with someone else. That's how you make a sheepdog. You take that sibling and you take that pup away from its mother, and you take it and you put it and nurse it with the sheep, and then you keep it in the corral and let it grow with the sheep. And the way that you see if that pup is really going to be a sheepdog is you let its mother in, and that pup that came from her will attack it and kill it.
Wow.
So that's the way in which we're seeing the programming in which we have that part of being taken and given to another. That's where we turn our children over to an educational system that teaches most basically everything about them and less about us. And so when you look at what the text represents, it represents the woman that when he was cut up into 13 pieces, she went out and found all of the pieces of his body with the exception of the phallus. And the phallus was eaten by a catfish, and they say it was, but anyway, it represents the phallus. And she created that, but her and her sister came and they had to raise the man up by the djed. came up, but she rose the tech in order to raise the life-producing tool that he would need to kick them into existence, because that was what the representation that I learned about, that the obelisk or the tech was to be symbolized in the erection of a people.
But it also has, it's also been associated with the galactic alignment, that the shape of the ticket, especially the top part, has
like the cap.
It has an association with the movement of the planets towards an area in the solar system that is called the Dua, and that area is associated with the very regenerative processes, and so the idea of it being a phallus or a penis is associated with the erection and ejaculation. I don't mean to get vulgar here, but the ejaculation of energy into the womb of life in order to regenerate life. And the idea of the resurrection is a spiritual regeneration, and it's symbolized by the physical phallus. And the real life is the spiritual life, not the physical life, and that has to do with the movement, the timing of this movement every 26,000 years, which is the period that we are supposedly into now. So it has a lot to do, from my perspective, it has a lot to do more with interpreting those metaphors, those stories in the context that draws from all the different information that's out here, and being blessed with understanding by the Creator that shows you how all of it fits together and gives you a bigger picture. And
you're very much correct, because this is why they did, on the day before Resurrection Day, move the 22 coffins of our ancestors, Ramesses, Tutankhamun, all of that went into what they call now the gem, or the Great Egyptian Museum. And because the alignment that you're talking about, it was at the time of 34,600 BC. And that's when that alignment, and we're in that alignment because we're now in the time of Aquarius and Leo. That's why they call it now the fourth great pyramid in Egypt, in alignment with Harem-Het, which is the statue of a female, the lioness, at the head of a woman on the body of a lion. And this alignment, and that they're doing is because we're in this place in our midst. That's why we have to overstand, or the part of that, what as above, so below. Because we are constantly moving through this galaxy, and we're back at what we call the galactic year. We crossed the waters of new, and we're there now. And this is the energy in which they're using, because they're using our alchemy, they're using our astronomy, because the keeper of that is Checkmate, which is so spiritual wife in the cosmos, who is the architect of astronomy, arithmetic, and architect. And she sends down the cosmic energy. And this is what you're talking about with the TechNet, being able to connect with her energy in the cosmos, because in the way of the Milky Way is the part of the woman that a uterus is to produce the milk. So it's all our science, but we have to understand how to get back. We talk spiritual, but we don't understand our ritual. And that is the ritual in which they use, and how they use the geomancy to build on this earth to align with what's above us. so we've got to get back into our teaching to understand how we can reawaken ourselves, because it's cosmically being done, because we get 11,464 pounds of what's called it's dust, cosmic dust that bathes the earth yearly. And we've got to reconnect with it, because it raises our consciousness when we come back to the earth. That's why I said the learning tree, because the tree is rooted. It is our first internet. The tree is the antennas that bring down and change and give us oxygen, and understanding how to use nature and be most likely to ourselves.
Can you repeat that again, please, brother Baba? The trees are the antennas?
Right. And the trees are the antennas, and they are rooted into the place. They have a net. This is what they made the movie Avatar. The trees are all connected. They're intermittent in the earth. The soil is a live being. And what we're doing with this cosmic dust that is coming down, it is energizing these trees. And this is why they're trying to, this is why they have to remove them, so they can get their frequency in that interferes with the cosmic frequency that's coming from our trees.
I am so glad you said that, because I know for a fact that the Amazon is being torn down. They're getting rid of all the trees. And I was like, why are they destroying nature? And I had my idea in my head. And now you just confirmed it with the trees, because we had an experience. I had an experience with trees a month or so ago. And
trees
go ahead.
You have locks. Trees are like locks. They are antennas.
Okay.
And each tree has its own symbolic symbol in what it does. The pine tree, Strange Fruit. The song Strange Fruit, she talks about the popular tree as used for lynching, and the smell of sweet magnolia, which is a magnolia tree. That's all in the South.
Wow. So it sounds to me that the solution to this problem that we're having in our culture, shaping and influencing our beliefs and our thoughts, is that it reinforces what I said earlier about how we need to connect with the trees, because that's where the energy is, the answers to all of our questions. I think brother Baba Kwame Sunhorse just gave us one of the greatest answers to our dilemma. Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq.
Where were the greatest schools at? Where did we first start teaching them? We sat under the tree, and we had the children at the tree. The elder would sit with his back to the tree. The children would sit in front of the elder. Because it's a transmission. It's a cycle. Because the tree has many branches, and we're just like all our children are the leaves.
Whoa, I love that.
The age of a tree by the circle inside the tree, because the tree is circular just like the earth. And it's no gravity. It's how everything spins and water travels up and down that tree.
Wow. That is powerful. I think that's the beginning. Lionel, I do believe. I said it, but he just reinforced it. We need to get back to nature, because we can't function if we are in our cell phones and our TVs and the radio all day, because the electrical interferences from nature are stopping, distorting. Thank you, honey. Are distorting our vision. It's removing us from the truth, because we don't know. Go ahead.
The psychological dictionary, DSM-4, DSM-5, now has in their definition is what's called nature deficit disorder. People have been put into urban area. Urban only means you are banned from nature. It's a colonization process. Man cannot colonize nature, so he has to make pockets on the planet and create an environment. Concrete jungles is what we give the name to it.
Yes.
And that's what they are. They disconnect you from the frequency of our mother. Talking about Mother Earth, what about Mother Earth?
Yes.
First mother that we all have to walk upon.
You are absolutely right. Wow. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing that information. That's powerful. I think we got it, Lionel. I think we got it. For those who didn't get it, I know I just got it, even though I've been saying it forever. I think that's the solution. What do you think, Lionel?
I agree that it has a lot to do with nature and understanding the meaning of historical ideals and values. The further back you go and then work your way forward, you see a lot of similarities and a lot of the same ideas being repeated in different religions. But the narrow-mindedness that people have in terms of being locked into one idea, not studying everything, but only studying what they've been told by their masters and by the people who run their particular social situation.
Yes.
They don't seek independent understanding of guidance. They don't go out looking for knowledge on their own. They just accept what they've been told and try to make a living based on that.
Yes.
And that's slavery. That's slavery.
And so far it's been working.
And he's correct what he's saying, but what we have, you can go in nature and get a PhD.
Okay.
Because you can learn from everything that is within nature. What we call uncivilized is now being redefined as civilized because they're seeing that theirs is an uncivilized way in which they did what they did. Because when they came and the missionaries were the ones, and they came and they built these little houses and said, this is the house of God. And the indigenous people say, are you crazy? God is in everything. So how are you going to put him just in that little bitty house there? But he turned around and took that cross and grabbed the top of it and made it into a sword and said, if you do not believe what I say, I will kill you.
Wow.
A lot of times they kill them first and then force them to follow the teaching afterwards. In fact, a lot of times it was really the soldiers that went in, conquered the land, and then sent the missionaries to indoctrinate them.
Yes. You are right on target.
And they didn't have no choice about whether or not they would accept it or not. You didn't have no choice. This is what you got to do.
And that's the conquering of the man, and that's what the symbology of the cutting up into 13 pieces, as Seth did to his brother. And he turned around and he did this. And when he did that, that in turn just is the same story of Cain and Abel. In that,
but we understand that this is metaphorical. It's not a literal story. It's not
truth. Right, but myth is a form of truth. It's just like I always say, half truth is a whole lie.
Okay.
Because
go ahead. Just got to play the ending. We're wrapping up. Go ahead. Finish your thought. Go ahead and finish your thought. Hello.
I'm still here.
Okay. Well. Okay. It is 8. Wait. It's 8:59. We're about to close out the show. The after show starts with Naima Latif at 9 a.m. Feel free to continue the conversation with us here. But if you are on the line and you want to comment after 9 o'clock, then you've got to push the number 1 right now at 312. I'm sorry, I'm giving you the wrong number. 505-615-9325. That's 505-605-9325. And you got to press 1 to speak as we close out this morning's show and begin the after show. So please complete your thoughts, and then Lionel will close out the show. Go right ahead.
all around the world, this
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that in the myth stories is a certain amount of truth, is why we utilize it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a level to in which you give that most of the myth and the stories were given to the children in the ways of learning them how to reason with what is being told to them. So the thing that we have to understand is that, like Lionel was saying, the missing pages of world history is the missing pages of our story.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to begin to look at which story do we perceive. Yes, we need to learn about all these different things, but the thing is that we define the people by land history and culture.
Mm-hmm.
We have a history that needs to be recognized and identified as world history along with the rest of their story.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. I agree. Okay, Brother Lionel, you want to close us out?
Yeah, I just want to make it clear that there is a God, and that God is waiting for us to turn and sincerely seek guidance, and then go to work, looking for it and practicing what it is that you gain. It's not enough just to lip service about God if you're not practicing some discipline, some guidance that has come from God, that is connects you with nature, that connects you with your psychic reality, your spiritual reality. And it needs more to be able to practice what you preach, to practice some form of discipline that cultivates your spiritual elevation. And that's what I suggest we do. Don't just read and study, but pray and work.
Amen. Don't just read and study, but pray and work. And that is the closing comment from Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq of Community Cultivations. We appreciate your sincerity and the words of wisdom that you bring, Brother Lionel. We look forward, always look forward to having you on every first Monday in the month here at the Female Solution. And we just say thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity. And then they contact me. My number is 773-642-1453. Peace be upon you, and let us all work and pray.
Amen. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. And once again, if you'd like to contact Brother Lionel Abdul Haqq, he is a man of wisdom that wants to speak with you personally with no electronic interference. That would be 773-642-1453. And if you just insist on emailing him, you can email me info@higherlearningnetwork.org, and I will send the message to him. So thank you, Lionel. It is 9 a.m. Actually, it's 9:02 or 9:03, and we are joined by my sister of the microphone, who is the executive producer of the Female Solution, and she is with us here now as we continue with the after show. Mary, will you be staying with us, or will you be leaving?
I'm gonna leave.
Okay. Well, we thank you so very much, and please give us a closing thought before you leave.
Just have a great day, and thank you for having me.
And thank you.
Thank you so much.
It is an honor and pleasure. We look forward to having you again in the very near future. Did I do that right? Okay. And that, the thumb. And what does that mean now?
I love you.
I love you. Yes. Yes. All right. Thank you, Mary.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great day, dear. We appreciate you.
All right. Love you.
All righty. All righty.
Bye-bye.
And we are joined by, I'm going to turn this camera around so people can see you, because this man is always over here trying to make me laugh.
You're making faces and stuff.
You know, that's exactly what he does, is make faces. He is known to make a face, and I appreciate it, but not all the time, but I accept it anyway. Now let me go get my belt because I gotta spank him. And I'm going to open the microphone up for Mama AZ after you do your introduction, because she has a comment. As a matter of fact, I'm going to open it up now because I got to run and get some water. Mama AZ is there. She is 336350. But just know that your microphone is open. Mama AZ and Baba Kwame Sunhorse and Naima, take it away.
All right. I love this show. I'm having so much fun listening. And I'm glad, Mama AZ, that you brought up that question about telepathy. And as Zelda mentioned, we're learning multiple languages, and I'm going to be putting on my website a language course that I am developing. I've been thinking about it for years and years, and actually it was her sign language interpreter that inspired me to just go ahead and do it. Because, as you have pointed out about telepathy, I mean, that is the first language that we all know. We come here to this earth communicating, sending thoughts. We communicate thoughts to our mother. And then all of you have raised children. You know that instinctively how your child feels. Your child is not speaking language, but you feel their feelings. And this is essentially what telepathy is. Tele, distance, pathy, feelings. Feelings over distance. You're sending your feelings over distance. So all speech is the vocal sounds that represent the feelings. So what we're learning, and we did a little bit of it, as Zelda mentioned the other day, and teaching them the first sign language, hi, hello, which Mary Sheldon did at the beginning of the show, and then saying it in several different languages. And then, well, first of all, before you say anything, you first have the feeling of what it represents. So what I expressed was, look at someone that you want to greet and think of how it feels when you want to greet them. What is a greeting? You're basically saying, I am acknowledging your presence and extending friendliness. That's what a greeting is. So feel the feeling first, send them the feeling, and then do the sign for it as you send the feeling. Now, say a word as you send the feeling, like Jumbo. Now, I've sent the feeling. I've said a sound. The person receives the feeling and they hear the sound and they know to associate the sound with the feeling. That's how children learn language. But you're really working with their already first language, which is telepathy. Now, with interspecies communication, all species speak this language because this is the language of the Creator. This is the language that we all have because we're all connected to the Creator, because we are all expressions of the Creator. So all of us have the skill of telepathy. And we use it all the time. It's just the human beings are unconscious of it because we have been trained out of it. Once we start, and all of us can think about how when we started using verbal communication, say at the age of 2, a lot of our spiritual gifts, our connection to the unseen kind of disappeared because we start relying on verbal speech instead of our feeling. But it's the feeling that we actually communicate to all living beings. And this is what we send and receive. It's like when you say, I felt bad vibes from somebody, or that I liked her vibes. Well, it's the feeling that they're sending you. That's the first communication. That is the universal communication that we all have. So interspecies communication is basically telepathy. It's sending and receiving feelings. You do it all the time. If you've got a pet, like we talked about Fagula, Jody's bird,
friend, well, she got all excited when we were talking about her, and it was like, oh wow, they're acknowledging me, and so I felt her, really feeling the excitement of us recognizing her beingness, recognizing her intelligence, recognizing that she is a being that also has feelings to share, and us acknowledging that she was just chirping and everything, and she was just really sending and just sharing her thoughts as we said, oh yeah, bring her on camera, we want to talk to her. So interspecies communication with all life is something we have the power to do as humans, but the first step to that is to remove our human arrogance and believing that we are superior. Because if you are believing that you are greater than other expressions of divine creation, then you're not going to feel their feelings because you assume they don't have any. And so you block your capacity to communicate with those other living beings. So right now, humanity, it's like we're deaf and dumb to the rest of life because they're all communicating and we can't hear or we can't hear or speak to them because we don't believe they have the intelligence that we have. So we cut off our capacity to receive their feelings and send our feelings and communicate in this universal language that they are all using with each other. It's like if you're in a room with people and everybody's got their cell phone out and they're texting everybody and you're not on your phone, so everybody's involved in this conversation. You can't hear it, but they're all, responding to what each other is texting and laughing and stuff. And but there's no communication, and they're involved in something and you're not, because you're not looking at your cell phone, you're not participating in the texting. So it's as if it's not happening for you, but it's happening for them. It's the same thing that's happening in nature. All of nature is communicating all the time. We're the ones who are deaf and dumb, and in that sense, we can't hear and we can't speak to nature because we are arrogantly believing that we are the only ones with intelligence. And since other people aren't speaking our language, they don't have a language. All things have a language. The trees have a language. The bees have a language. The birds have a language. The squirrels have a language. All of them have a language, and all of them speak the first universal language, which is telepathy. We have lost our connection. So we have to regain it. And this is what we'll be sharing on our website with these classes in multilingual interspecies telepathic communication, because the first language is telepathy. So what we're doing is helping people remember the language they were speaking before they spoke verbal language. And once you learn telepathy, you have learned interspecies communication. So in addition to the telepathic interspecies communication, we're also learning 20 different spoken languages, because we're going to learn them the same way children learn them. Associate this sound with this feeling. Every time you associate this sound with this feeling, then you understand what you mean. So no matter what I say, as a child, you don't intellectualize it or try to visualize how it's spelled or any of that. Those are the ways that we teach language to adults, which is why adults don't learn language very well. Trying to write it out and then, have you memorize it. No, that's not how you learn language. You learn language by associating the sound with the feeling. So if I say to you, hola, it's a greeting because I first sent to you a feeling of greeting. Now, what do children do? They repeat what they hear. So they know that you sent the feeling and they just repeat whatever the word is that represents that feeling. And that's how they learn the language. Hola, hola. So this is how children who live in a household with parents that speak different languages, they learn all those languages because they're, first of all, they're learning the first universal language, which is telepathy. So if they have got a parent who speaks French, another who speaks Japanese, they're going to learn both those languages because they're going to understand what those sounds mean that relate to those feelings. So yes, Mama AZ, we are learning we are remembering our first language that doesn't have to be taught because we are born with it. And we're learning how to expand our expression of that first language, both symbolically with sound, with sign language, and vocally through speech, so that we can speak the universal language of telepathy, and we can speak it to all species. We will be able to hear the trees as they send feelings to us. We will be able to send our feelings back. We'll be able to communicate with the trees because we will then remember the language that we knew before we had spoken language. And I think it was Lionel Abdul Haqq said our first classrooms, we were sitting under the trees, and that was how. Yes, so children in those environments, that's where you learn because they're able to absorb all of the knowledge that's coming to them from the various species, from the trees that are very wise, and we experienced that when we went to Florida and just feeling the trees. And it was just amazing. You know, it was like opening up a sense that you had closed down. And suddenly the awareness again of these are life forms that are communicating with us.
And they were communicating with me. Woo, yes. Lord have mercy.
Yes. So we can speak to all things. We can speak to all life, and all life can speak back to us. And we will find out once we remove the mistaken notion that only human beings have the intelligence to communicate, then we'll be able to hear that fly on the wall. We'll be able to hear that mouse in the corner. We'll be able to say, would you please leave? I'll put some food for you outside if you're hungry and you need to feed your family, but I prefer you not be in my home.
I know that's right. Conversation with the rats. I love it. You know, when you lie, I know that sounds crazy to the average ear, but that is it's possible. Mama AZ, I hear you in the background.
Yes, ma'am. It's just a lot of noise. It's the nurses doing what they need to do. But thank you for allowing me to be heard. I am so proud of you, Sister Zelda. And greetings. Brother Kwame is still there. And Brother Lionel is still there. I appreciate you. And even the sister from Fuquay, the sign language sister. This is a very important day because it represents, if you do the numbers, it comes out to a 4. And to me, 4 represents foundation, and also 4 represents thinking out of the box. And that's what this show has represented to this day. And the reason that I ask about sign language and mental telepathy, communicating through the mind, is because there is this wisdom tree, elder sister is a female, I think, but I don't know. I'm going to find out. Has been communicating with me since I have been in this facility, and I'm going to see if I can send a picture to you, Sister Zelda, and also Brother Kwame and Dr. Lateef, because this tree is giving me communication to communicate to you. And yes, this is Mama Bonfire AZ here in Sierra Vista at this facility is called The Haven. And I'm going to ask
Brother Harris, who is the number man, what does Haven represent in numbers? But thank you for just having this show and expounding the information. And I really appreciate Brother Lionel and Brother Kwame making, how you say, confirmation of things that the tree has been communicating with me and others. And I'll just thank God. Yes, I'm serious, Sister Zelda.
I believe it.
If I continue this tree.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll just listen. I'm going to mute.
Okay.
And I think it was Brother Kwame that said about the trees being the antenna. Yeah, the antenna for cosmic energy on the planet. Yeah, it's just like, we know that our hair is antenna, is why we grow. Right. And spiritual energy, it forms a spiral kind of pattern, and this is why when our hair grows in this spiral pattern, it does enhance our ability to receive messages. One of the, as a matter of fact, I think somebody mentioned this is the period of Ramadan, the month of fasting for the Muslims, and there's a whole program during the month where you get up in the morning and read verses from the Holy Quran and so forth before you start your day. And today, my daughter and I, we were reading, and one of my favorite verse, which, and I don't remember the exact number of the verse because I don't memorize numbers like that, but I remember the verse, which basically says something and along the lines of, there's not a bird that flies in the air or animal that crawls on the ground, but they form communities just like you. We've left nothing out in this book, and to their Lord they'll be gathered together, which basically means animals, they've got their culture, their community, and they also and they also are spiritual beings that transition to the afterlife just like we are. So I mean, this is what we learn, and it's to learn respect for all life, because all life is an expression of the Creator. So for people who think like, Mama, as he says, think out the box. Well, if they think it's out the box to think of communicating with other species, well, indigenous people have been doing it for ages. We're thinking we're better and higher and more civilized because we are arrogantly thinking that that's primitive, when in fact, that is your humanity. That is your connection to the divine, respecting all life and respecting the fact that all beings, be they insect or fish, all beings have the same God consciousness of awareness of their life, and they, just like human beings, have a family, a language, a culture, a purpose. And so us arrogantly believing that everything is here to just serve us is arrogance, which is why we do insensitive things like tearing down trees, which are providing oxygen. So look, people, get the hint. You're suffering from a virus that attacks your respiratory system. What do you need? Oxygen. What are you killing? Oxygen. How many hints do we need to be told by nature, stop it? You, human beings, you are making a mess. So we need to hear what we're being told. And you notice no other species is suffering from this virus except humans.
Right now, teach myself.
So we're the ones who need a lesson in respecting life and respecting those beings that are providing us with life-giving oxygen. And they'll tell us if we'll listen, but if we arrogantly believe that nothing else speaks except for people, then we can't hear them. So we're going to learn how to communicate with our brother and sister, fellow beings, the trees, the grass in the fields, everything, because everything is alive. And also, of course, during this month of Ramadan, it's the fasting is to make us conscious of people who are hungry and to also feed those, because we're supposed to be sharing what we have. And I do want to say, because I take my daughter to the train station to work in the morning and come back here. But this morning, our dear brother Andrew Nelson, he offered a few bean pies that he had, to some of our female solution hosts, and he asked, maybe I want to share them with you and Deborah. He actually gave me 3 pies, so I picked them up. I picked up the pies from him this morning.
Bless his heart.
Yes, bless his heart. And as greedy as I am, I want to eat all 3. Share them with the other hosts. He said Zelda, so and make sure you got one. And Deborah, she's not too far from me. I'll make sure she has one. I do want to eat them all. Be obedient and in the spirit of sharing that he gave them to me, I'm going to share them with my hosts.
His heart.
Yeah.
Brother Kwame, we hear you. Go ahead.
So I figured I'd show him so that'll force me to not eat all 3 of these pies. Okay, now everybody know I got them, so now I gotta do what I'm doing.
Yeah, we gotta talk after the show. We gotta talk about them pies.
Yeah.
Brother Kwame, I hear you in the background.
Yes, and assalamu alaikum, my sister Naima.
Wa alaikum salam, my brother.
And the thing that I'm understanding what you're saying is very important, but we have to go a little bit higher. It's because there's a thing in which I do at sunrise. I'll come out and I'll listen to the tree frogs and the crickets. The sun's energy will have that the birds will begin to sing before we even see daylight. The sun sends its signal, and the birds will start there because they pick up the signal of the sun.
Yes.
They will start to chirp, and the frogs and the crickets will know that the sun is rising, and they will stop. There is a language in the planet.
Yes.
That we hear and perceive, that we know, we fail to even, that telepathy, and that when you live in nature, you will not need a clock because you will know by the energy of the sun that you've now created mentally that it is rising and you will rise. When the sun goes down, that's why you rise with the sun and you rest with the sunset. Because you have a circadian rhythm already programmed into us as humans.
Yes.
So this is how we know that our melatonin and all of the secretion will come at that time. It's just like in Ramadan. You don't eat from sunrise until sunset because you allow the body to fast and to connect the energies of the earth with what's above, and then you can intake at the sunset.
Yes, yes.
These are the languages of, just like you can go online and type in frequencies of the planet, and they will show you, just like Emoto did with the water.
Yeah.
You put lava on water, it forms a perfect crystal. The sun has a frequency that they've recorded, and they put it and made it into a plate. It forms an 8-pointed crystal snowflake. Every planet has its frequency. The sounds of the universe and of the cosmos are constantly sending energy here. Just like they just had a CME came off the sun and it hit the planet yesterday. We're getting these messages that are coming in the solar wind. This is why you listen to the wind. Animals know instinctively when storms are move away from the area that it's coming to.
Wow. That's why they say we should watch the birds.
Yes, yes. And you know, birds and the songs that they sing, they're singing at a pitch, because science of sound is just amazing. They sing at a pitch that actually helps the plants to grow. So they're interconnected and communicating. And this is why the sound of a bird song is so soothing to us when you listen to their music, because they're actually, it's a healing sound that they're putting forth. So what happens when we tear down trees, which is the homes of the birds? You know, we're destroying that whole system that nature is involved in. I mean, everybody is interconnected in nature. Human beings have to get back in step. We're out of step with everything. And so even the sounds that we put forth are jarring sounds that do not produce the inner peace that's healthy for our body's healing. And you know, if you've ever listened to a lot of the mood music or mood sounds, what do you hear? Waterfalls, birds singing, because those are the sounds that nature provides that are healing for our bodies. So when you go out in nature and you hear those natural sounds, you get the healing energy from the sound.
Right. I love it. I love it. I love
it.
Now I understand why I have this obsession, and I do mean obsession, because Tony think I done lost my mind, with trees and with water. And when I go to sleep at night, I'm listening to the ocean because it's and the 432 megahertz, the meditative mind. That's what I'm listening to as I sleep, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe this.
432 is nature.
Yeah.
That's it. So when we know these things, then we realize the way we live in these urban environments is so unnatural to our well-being. And this is why the behavior is so detrimental to our well-being, because the brain waves are being disturbed. We're constantly in a state of stress. And because we don't hear the sounds of birds when all the trees are gone, all we have is concrete, we can't get any stress relief. So that's why we're always upset and sick.
Right.
So we have to create inner peace in order to combat the outside that we have to live in until we can change our environment. And of course, you're urging to get near trees. Well, you know, if you live in a tall building of concrete, your whole spirit is saying, we need to get out to nature. We need to commune with our brother and sister trees so that we can get a healing from this unnatural environment. And we need to have children learn under a tree and not in a classroom that's made like a prison complex.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have them out in nature, sitting under the trees, hearing the birds, relaxed, where they can laugh. We need to have fields where they can run. You know, they need to enjoy life. We have made schoolhouses prisons, and then we wonder why they're not flourishing. We have cut them off of the real life, the life force energy of nature. And that's what has to be reversed. And when we do that, then we'll see a difference in our children.
You want something different, you got to do something different.
That's right.
It's plain and simple.
Plain and simple. So, you know, we have an opportunity to change the narrative by simply speaking the things that we know, the things that your guests have said today and callers have said. That which we have accepted as normal, we know is unnatural. And for those who are unaware, they need to just keep hearing us speak about things like interspecies communication, things like letting nature heal our bodies. They need to keep hearing that, and then they need to see the results of our own lives, our own example, our own peaceful demeanor, watching us go through the process of euthanizing rather than aging. It's like, wait a minute, how come you look younger than you did last year? And the year has passed. It's because I'm doing more communing with nature that's giving me life force energy instead of my life force energy declining because I'm in constant stress and frowning and got wrinkles. No, I'm absorbing the life force energy of the trees, the grass, the birds, the squirrels, the butterflies, and it's energizing me. It's rejuvenating the cells in my body, so I'm actually appearing younger. So that's what happens to us when we interact with nature.
And the fact, excuse me, and the fact that black don't crack. I'm just saying.
Black don't crack. Well, what do we absorb? We've absorbed the vitamin D from the sun over eons of time, and the sun continues to give us health, strength, life, and enlightenment. The energy of the sun is giving us the ability to experience inspiration, for our antennas to work. We can absorb the inspiration from the creator. And so we need to sit out in the sun more. And, if you all have had that experience of unfortunately misdirected, elders that had been brainwashed to think there's something inappropriate about dark skin, and they say, yeah, get out the sun, you'll get too black. You can never be too black.
Thank you. Hello.
So yes, we need more sun, and we need to absorb the sun as much as we can, and we need to listen to the trees, listen to the birds. We have to counteract this urban, non-nature filled environment with more walks in the parks and places where oxygen is being replenished. And people, do not walk outside wearing a mask on your face and there's nobody around you. And why are you doing that?
You're riding around in the car with a mask on your face.
Why are you in a car with a mask? There's no one in that car but you, and you are masking yourself, depleting your oxygen. Please don't do that. The air is to be breathed through your nostrils so that your lungs can be filled with air and you can be healthy. If you allow misunderstanding and misdirected information to make you fear breathing air because you think a virus is going to kill you, trust me, when you weaken your lung capacity by not breathing deeply. I mean, why do you think we had these sessions on Mondays? So you can learn how to breathe.
Hello.
Learn how to get all the oxygen, fill your lungs, learn how to do that. That's what keeps you alive. So if you're not breathing enough air, your oxygen is not helping your body in the capacity that it could, and you become weaker and susceptible to any kind of illness. So strengthen your lungs by giving them the air they need. Breathe outside, unencumbered by a covering on your nose. That's intelligence. So look at the animals, and I don't know if it was Baba Kwame or Baba Lionel Abdul Haqq that was saying, look at the animals and observe them.
Yes.
And learn from them, because they do the things that enhance life. And so learn from them because they have not diminished their connection to the Creator. And we're all connected to the Creator. We just, as people, keep disconnecting.
Like somebody called me, you just keep hanging up. What's the point?
Yes. That's just like what it is. You ever had a cell phone call and the call keeps dropping?
Yep.
That's what we keep doing. The creator trying to talk to, we keep dropping the call. We keep, so we need to stay connected so that we can hear.
Go ahead.
I sent you a picture of the talking tree, the wisdom tree.
Yes.
Let me know if you got it.
I got it.
Okay, this is good. And I also sent it to Brother Kwame. I want to share something with you. On my journey, when I was out there in the stronghold, during the time of my baptism, there was this little skunk. I saw the two skunks coming in on the road before I got to my campsite there in the stronghold. And I'm like, And so when I got to my stronghold, there they were.
Wow.
And I'm like, dang, what's up with this? So they were looking for water and food. And maybe they knew who I was before I got there. And there's one little skunk. I think he was a juvenile, a youngster, because he was just wreaking havoc, going through my garbage, or going through my things that I had out there, food, and what have you. So he came up to me and I said, look, I know this is your space too. I said, let's be friends and do not spray me because I can't handle that. I said, we can roll together because I can learn from you and you can learn from me. And I said, if you want some food, I'll make some, I'll show you. So I had this sausage that I hadn't had for years. And I put a piece out there. And do you know, it's some beans that my brother had prepared. Oh, I love his beans. Anyway, I made a little dish out there for that little skunk, the beans and the sausage. And so the next thing I knew, he was kind of creeping up and smelling me. And I said, go ahead. I said, let's break bread together. So the skunk took the food out of the container little by little, and he was back up, watching me to see if I was going to jump on him or whatever. He was feeling my energy. I said, it's okay. But he would always back up. He would not turn around. He would back up. So I said, I said, maybe he's watching not only me, but his whole environment backing up, because if somebody came at him, he could spray them. Yeah. And I thought that was so interesting. So he decided that we would be friends. And when he got too noisy and I couldn't sleep, because he started surrounding the perimeter of my tent to see if I was asleep or snoring. And I watched this. And I said, man, that little thing is smart. So he would get too noisy going through my food, and I would turn the alarm on the truck. And I said, look at here, I gotta sleep. So go somewhere else to somebody else's campsite and bug the shit out of them, okay? Oh. Leave me alone because I gotta sleep. And he did that. Yeah. And the police came to tell me that they were being raided by that little skunk. So I was so fascinating. And just pay attention, because you can always learn something. Like the Blue Jays brought their troop to get my chips, and they had a relay system. I put the chips down, and the Bluebirds, the Blue Jays would fly in, and then they were like a relay, a tag team. They would run, would pick up, four would pick up the chips, and then another crew would come in and pick up the chips until the whole bag of chips was gone. I saw this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, damn. We can learn a lot. Did you hear it?
Wow.
You know, it's interesting what you say about the skunk, because, you know, when the skunk gets ready to spray you, they turn around and turn their tail up at you. So by the skunk backing up, that was like the skunk saying, you know, okay, I'm trusting you. I'm not going to I want you to trust me and know I'm not getting ready to spray you. So you all were kind of both communicating, all right, we cool, we trust each other. And of course, the skunk felt your energy when you said, don't be going through my food. You had to get out of here and go get someone else. See, the interspecies communication is not from the head, it's from the heart. They feel so it's your heart that sends feelings, and that's what they pick up, and that's what they send to you, and that's what you send to them. So the skunk felt your heart that was saying, I'm willing to share with you. We can break bread together, and rather than get out of here and throw a shoe at him,
Right.
They were he was feeling your sharing energy, and then he was feeling your annoyance energy of get away when you were ready for them, not to be keeping you awake. So when people grow up being told not to show emotions, they're actually cutting off that communications vehicle of telepathy, because that's what it is. You're feeling your emotions so that other people can feel your emotions, so you can send those emotions, because that's how you communicate to others. So all that teaching of don't cry and suck it up, and it's like somebody putting a muzzle over your mouth. You can't speak.
Right.
Same thing. You can't speak the universal language when you're told to not feel or not show any emotion. The way we send our feelings is to feel them. And then we send them so that people can understand how we feel. So like you were saying, can people understand what you mean even when you don't say anything? Right. Well, that's kind of how even sign language evolved. I mean, it's symbolic, but you also have to send the feeling with what you're saying. Because there's a time when people of two different languages meet, they got to figure out how to talk to each other. So they might make up their own kind of symbols of things, but you have to send the feeling with what you're signing in order so people can understand what it means from a heart level, because they're feeling it. And like, Mary was saying that sign language is different in every language, because we're learning American sign language on English, but then other people also have ways that they're communicating with those who may not, be speaking verbally using their language. But all sign language requires really a bit of telepathy, where you have to send the feeling of what you're saying so that people can feel what that sign means. It's like if you're saying thank you, you send the feeling of gratitude with the sign so that they understand.
Well, I want to thank. Go ahead, Mama Z.
Okay, now during that journey at the stronghold, I told this wasp not to bite me, and that wasp went on ahead and bit me. And what I did, I got some tobacco and distilled water and mixed it and made a poultice out of it. And I sit it there by my rocker chair. The next thing I knew, there were a ton of ants in that tobacco, and it was wet, but I didn't know this. And I called Brother Kwame, and I said, Brother Kwame, you didn't tell me ants like tobacco. And I think he asked me, was it wet or something? I don't know. Anyway, he said, I think I told him it was wet. He said they were looking for the water. That's why the little creatures, the skunk, and everybody is rolling up there to the camp, because they need water. So I said, dang. And ant is also community, family. So when an ant shows up, you must think about, okay, how am I rolling with the community? What do I need to do to include family? Because when running it comes, when you got food, they can't get that big chip or the water be available to just them. All of their tribe, and they come over there and get the chips, or they come over there and partake of that water. That's community, family. They relay messages to the other family members or the other tribe, and they come over there together collectively and they drag that chip off. It's amazing.
Have you ever noticed, like if you even throw out something and a bird will come and then some more birds come?
Yes.
And you wonder, how did they know? Well, see, they're communicating telepathically.
Yes.
You see them go and get them. You see these people coming, you know, and it's like, how did they know that I'm throwing bread out? Now it's got a whole flock. I was feeding 2, now it's like 22. How did they know?
Right.
So they're sending, you know, the message that, oh, there's food here.
Yeah.
The community comes to share. So you're right. That's how community works. And that's how we see other species doing it. They will call in their family and friends and community to share. So everybody has some. And that's all we have to do. If we did that, we would not have crime. We have crime because we're not allowing people to have what they need. So they have to take it by force. And then we want to punish them because they're trying to get what they need and we don't want to give it to them. And so that's why we have crime.
Well said. Well said. Well, it is about that time. The after show was actually over 30 minutes ago. We just keep going.
Yeah,
we just keep going and going and going because that's what we do. So I just want to give a plug to what's going on tomorrow. Self care with Jody Susan, who will be joining us in we'll be joining her at 7 a.m., 7 until 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And what's going on Wednesday, Naima?
Wednesday, I have a guest that has a challenging situation that she's going through, and it has to do with a judge that is insisting on keeping her nephew locked up, even though all the people who they based their testimony on have said, no, we lied. He's innocent of this crime.
What?
The judge is just saying, I don't care. Even if he comes up with appeal, I'm gonna still not let him go. So it seems like it's kind of personal. So we need to kind of call out this person.
Yeah, we do.
Is abusing their power to make life and death decisions of people, because we want people who we give that trust to.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about that, and of course, how we as a family need to be more loving to each other in whatever capacity that we're serving. And for people who still need more growth and inner development, if they have a position of responsibility that they're mishandling, then we need to lovingly remove them in the ways that we have to do so, through whether it be them being fired or not reelected, whatever it is. But if you don't have love in your heart, then you shouldn't be in a capacity where you have to make decisions that affect other people's lives.
You sure should.
So this is the message that we want to put forth this Wednesday, and our guests will give us more information on how we can be of assistance to so many who are struggling with having had to face injustice.
Yeah, that's a bit much. You had all these witnesses, and it sounds like almost like a vendetta. It's like the judge is hell bent on locking this person up forever.
Yeah,
and all these witnesses. See, these are the kind of things that we need to pay attention to.
Yes,
we have control of this situation. So the question is, what are we going to do with it?
Right. We're not helpless. We have power and control. We just need to make the right decisions so that the right things can happen.
Amen. I'll definitely be on that show. And for the rest of the week, what's the lineup?
Well, of course, we have our Women's Roundtable on Thursday, and we'll be talking further about the upcoming HWPL incentive for journalists to change the perspective of the news from negative to positive, and we'll talk about that.
And what's HWPL? I always get Heavenly World Peace. I always forget what the L is.
Yeah. Heavenly Culture, World Peace, Restoration of Light.
Restoration
of Light. Light.
The light. It's all in the light.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So we'll talk about that. And then, of course, Friday, we've got Beata with health and well-being, always giving us such insight and changing the narrative about our bodies, because we are self-healing mechanisms. And all we need to know is how to assist our bodies in regenerating life, and we can continue to live and enjoy life abundantly. So definitely listen in for Beata and health and well-being. And this Saturday, we will be live at Western Illinois University, where we have an announcement being made for the candidacy of Secretary of State. So we want you all to join us for that.
Western University, is that downstate?
Downstate, yes, ma'am.
What city is that? Is that Carbondale?
Not Carbondale. It is, I want to say not Moline.
Moni?
No.
Somewhere around there.
In a minute. I've temporarily forgotten it. But it is downstate.
Okay. We can Google it. Yeah.
Google. Yeah. And but that's what we're going to bring to you on Saturday. So we'll be live visually, and you can hear it as well on Blog Talk Radio. See it on Facebook Live on the Female Solution Facebook page, and we're gonna get a chance to speak to the candidate and talk about the issues. What does the Secretary of State do, and what would we like to see done? I think a lot of times we don't know what people are responsible for, and we get angry at politicians for things that aren't in their realm of responsibility. And then the things we want done, we don't ask those who are in that area where they're responsible for it. So we need to know, what does this office do, and how can we participate in helping it do it better?
Isn't that the office of Jesse White?
Yes.
Who was supposed to be retired like 5 years ago?
Yeah, so I understand he's now actually retiring. What is he, 80 something? I mean, he looks
and in good shape too.
He's an athlete, and I'm telling you, if that don't inspire you to keep yourself in shape, that brother looked good for 80.
His 80s, and still got the tumbling team.
Yes. So.
Well, I think the fact that he may have been a gym instructor at some time, that may have had something to do with it.
For sure.
You know, a whole lot to do with it.
What is it? What is that saying your friend says? A body in motion stays in motion?
Stays in motion. Body, and he is a perfect in his 80s and still built, got muscles, strong.
Yes. So that's what that's the whole thing. You don't have to age and get broken down. You can age and still look good, still be vibrant, still be, supple with your joints rolling and everything like Beata does. And I still can't figure out how she put her feet together. She goes, let's clap our feet. I'm like, Beata, most people can't do that. Let's clap our feet together.
Okay. So, I could as a child once upon a time, and as a young adult in my 30s and my 40s, but in my 50s, things changed. They don't stretch like they used to.
Yeah, so you definitely have to keep up the exercise.
I can still skate in my 50s, though. I can still skate until I had an incident. God's way of remaining anonymous. But that's a whole nother show.
Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes you have to slow down a little. But, as long as we keep our bodies moving in some kind of way, I think we can still enjoy life. You don't have to be old and broken. You can be.
And even if you are, if you are old and broken, and you're in a wheelchair, or you walk with a walker, walk with that walker.
Yes,
however
you roll and roll that roller. Roll
right. Don't give up.
Don't be still.
This arm movement is making the heartbeat fast. You getting some aerobics.
There you go. However you got to move, keep on moving. If you got 2 legs and a cane, just keep it moving.
That's right. No excuse, none whatsoever. If you look for an excuse, I promise you'll find one. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Mama AZ.
Thank you so much. you reminded me of what Minister said to me yesterday. I'm not going to cry, but it was so off the chain profound, okay? She said, Mama AC, we're only in this body temporarily. And if you need to take a pain pill, take a pain pill and don't be tripping.
Right.
Through, because when they cut both of my legs off, they had me off morphine.
Oh,
and
yes.
it really took me off of it, you know. And I thought about that, and she says, you came here for this journey temporarily, and when it's time for you to move forward to cross over, you ain't even going to remember what the pain felt like. You asked for this, and it's something that you're supposed to learn. She reminded me of the episode I had in the closet with the Ascended Master telling me, you gauged this journey. You asked for this, and even though it may be difficult, you have within you whatever you need to get through this, because you asked for this assignment, and I cannot take you back. And I'm like, wow. And Minister Williams reminded me in her own way of that. So thank you. You Minister was responsible for me jumping off the building. When I heard her on your show, Dr. Latif, she convinced me and gave me enough air in my balls to come out of the closet to talk about these kinds of things. So reach out to Minister as much as you can.
Yes.
And acknowledge what position she is, you know, where she is, and because you're there. I'm not there. If I were there, I'd find a way to get up to her doggone window and just hold my hands up to her hands and let her know that she is loved. So I'm asking you, sisters, to do that, please, because something is getting ready to unfold there and in North Carolina and here in Arizona that's going to change everything. And that's another show. I know this. The talking tree is telling me to tell you this. So research. Whatever you need to do, family, you go and you hold your hand up to the goddamn window. This goddamn COVID, excuse my French, is for bullshit. Okay? Think of.
Thank you, Mama AZ. We appreciate you and your message, and we hear you loud and clear.
Absolutely. Yes, we do. Well, thank you for this after show, giving us a chance to kind of decompress and express and hopefully impress some thoughts on the minds and hearts of our listeners and viewers. We appreciate you so very, very much. And we love you. And we're going to have to share one of these pies with you.
Oh, girl, yes. Yeah, we need to talk about them pies. I reversed type 2 diabetes, but I didn't quit eating sugar altogether now. I can't eat a slice of pie. I just don't eat the whole dang on pie. Okay?
There you go, Tony. You got you, 3/4 of a pie.
Tony?
Maybe 4/5 of a pie.
Yeah. Something like that, because I'm not going to eat it all. I promise. I promise. I promise. Girl Scouts honor. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for more pie stories. No, just kidding. Self-care with Jody Susan. Be sure and sign up for the Higher Learning Stress Relief Spa Experience. You can go to my blog, ZeldaSpeaks.wordpress.com, and scroll down, or you can always email me info@higherlearningnetwork.org. And last but never least, support our youth global virtual teen talent contest every 4th Saturday of the month at 12 noon right here on YouTube. If you see that, when you go to YouTube, type in Higher Learning TV Show. This is what you'll get right there.
All right.
Until then, stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next Monday morning mindfulness on the Female Solution and the Female Solution 7 days a week. I had to close out the blog platform because it ended. So we'll just say shalom, namaste,
Namaste.
hotep, peace.
Peace.
And my girls say love, peace, and hair grease. Make it a great day. Thanks.